You are listening to Danny on What the HEK Podcast. This is the place where I share my experience, knowledge and skills. Welcome along. We have Lance Hastie, and he's going to be asked 12 random questions by What the HEK Podcast. So we're going to get straight into it before you're wondering who this guy is. I think you've just been out running. Is that correct?
And no, I've just come off a job site. We're just putting some smart labels on our smart units. I've just taken a bit of time out in the afternoon.
Right. You are a bit of a runner, so you do look like you could actually be in your running gear, because I know you.
Oh, I got caught out then. I did go for a run this morning.
Oh, there you go. I've actually been doing a bit of running myself lately, but that's a different story, and I'm not here to interview myself. I'm here to interview you. So let's go. We've got the 12 questions. I've shuffled. I've got 107 questions that I go through, and I shuffle them. And we did have a bit of committee to decide what we got to 107 questions would be good to ask people who come along on our podcast. And I've just picked out 12 of them, and I don't even know what they are myself. Hopefully they're not too personal. Let's see what happens. What kind of impact do you believe you have on people? Oof, bit of a heavy one straight away.
A calming impact.
Oh.
I tend to diffuse people and calm them down.
Right. Have you tried that with myself?
I would actually say yes.
Brilliant. Excellent. So you have a calming effect on people?
Yes. I can tend just to pull people down and
right.
just chill them out.
Right. Right today, because this will be listened to probably tomorrow, but it's actually election day in America at the moment. If you were going to calm the candidates down, what sort of words of advice would you give them?
I'd start with petrol and a match.
Brilliant. I know. Imagine that. I mean, I just found out today, I don't know how this works, and you might know better than me, but basically the one that gets the most votes doesn't necessarily win the election.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I didn't realise that. But like, there's so much going on there that it really does make you grateful to be anywhere but right at the moment. Like, I love their country, but I really wouldn't want to be there at the moment having to make that sort of a decision.
It's like watching a movie. Right, question number 2. Let's go into it. What is your proudest accomplishment? Doesn't have to be business. It can be anything you like.
Wow, that's a very interesting one. Probably being a dad would be my proudest accomplishment, and the feedback I get from others on that. It's not something that you fall into it. You just got to step up and deal with it. But that would be my proudest accomplishment, is being a dad and a father rolled into one.
I've asked that question quite a few times, and most people, if they've got children, would actually come up with the same. So next time I'm going to say other than being a parent, but I'll let you away with that one. But I get it. But I have a dog, and I spend a lot of time with my dog, and I don't have any children. So, yeah, I do have a lot of my dogs. No, I'm real close. Just thought I'd share that, so I sort of know what you're going through being a dad. Not okay. What's the biggest gift? What's the biggest gift you've ever been given, except your son?
I'm just distracted here slightly. There's a little baby rabbit running around. What's that about?
22.
Oh, now I know what I'm having for dinner tonight. No.
Is it a rabbit or a hare? Oh, it'd be a rabbit, won't it? It won't be a hare.
It is literally a baby rabbit. I would say fresh out of the burrow. It's having a little explore and stretching its legs in the heat of the day, as we are at. Getting back to your question, so run that one by me again, because I'm having a second. Oh, it's come back around again. He is having fun.
All right. What's the biggest gift you have been given?
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting one. Oh, yeah, okay, I can answer that one. Things that my son gives me, they'll be little written notes or cards, or he'll just make something. It's not the materialistic side of it. It's more the connection of it and the thought process he's gone through to actually put that together. So if he's done like a Father's Day card, which is just a piece of paper with his artistic rendition on it. That's
Yep.
the greatest gift to me.
That sounds good. That's a nice one. Oh dear, this is another long question. Obviously, these are random, but it says, what's the story of how you got to where you are and where you want to go? That could be a novel, mate.
It absolutely is. That's autobiography material, seriously.
Especially when people don't even know who you are at the moment, probably, because that'll be at the end
That's
of this.
true. And there'll be some people that know me in some areas and some people that know me in others. And that's probably part of the story, is that I have my fingers and had my fingers in so many different pies. Been in or involved in so many different activities. And that's where I've really come to embrace the ability to be at a level, a connector, is that I know so many people, and someone will say, oh, I'm trying to sort something out, and I'll be, oh, hey, Josh. If I don't know how to sort it, then I know someone who does. It's pretty incredible how well I've spread myself around the world, literally.
Yeah, cool. I went to the chiropractor the other day. He's pulled these doors shut, and he's got blankets over the doors. And I said, "What's with the blankets?" And he said, "I got quotes to get the frosting, and it was about $500-600 on the company." I said, "I know a guy. Go in there next week, and he just left. It cost me $200." And I said, "Yeah."
Amazing,
I just love that. Eh? Yeah,
exactly. There's a real buzz in that. He actually got something really neat out of it, but you get the buzz of also being able to help him out.
Yeah, and I went in there again today. I just got back from there now, and he forgot he had that conversation with it. He points at the windows again. Okay, who is your hero? Don't have to say me. It's okay.
Who is my hero? Yeah, that's a good one. It's a really good one. Who is my hero? I wouldn't actually say I have a particular hero. There are a lot of people that I really admire for all sorts of different reasons, and it probably speaks volumes to the sort of person I am. I just pull bits out of all different people. There's not one particular trait out of, or one particular person I say has got the whole package. There are so many people I'll just say, I like them for this. I get this out of them because they're that way inclined. So to really give you an answer,
Who inspires you?
there are so many people that inspire me, seriously. From severely, here's a classic example, would be someone that I've been matched with in one of my blood product donations, is that they inspire me. It puts into perspective what I'm giving to them is a fraction of the battle and challenge that they're having to go through. And I really, really look up to them and admire those people.
Yeah, it's uncomprehendable. What people go
to put
through
myself in
sometimes.
their shoes, I can't comprehend it. So it just makes me so grateful and so inspired that, this seems a little bit tough. It ain't a shadow or a patch on what others are going through. So you just stand back up and
I had my haircut yesterday, and it was by Wasabi. I can't say it right, but anyway, he was one of the ones that got shot in the Moss attacks, and his daughter,
okay.
and he'd been shot 5 times, and
that's a story.
He just tried to make himself go back to Jordan because there's some doctor over there that may be able to help his daughter. And he got to Turkey and he got stranded and he got in lockdown and he couldn't get out. And he started with a story, I want to get my hair cut, And I'm thinking, oh, all my problems that I've had are nothing. And ironically, it's a bit of a story, but the way he got back was a bit of luck because our government was paying for people to come back. And they paid for 6 of his family members at the price of, I think it was $35,000 to fly them home. Yeah, for 6 people. Anyway, he's back here now and he's glad to be here. And I said, please stay here now. But you imagine being shot 5 times. How do you talk to someone who's been 5 times? And you say, I've got a sore hip. And and yeah. Anyway, so back on target. Let's go. Which would you rather do? Okay, this is quite good. What would you rather do? Is it accounting, marketing, planning, customer service, or administration?
Planning.
Planning. That's good enough answer for me. I won't ask why. Planning. The creativeness of the mind.
Yes, there's that aspect of it too, and it's the ability to explore new territory. That's what I like about that.
Good. Oh my goodness, I had this one the other day and it's back in the pack. I'm going to change it. What if you died and you had a tombstone, what would you like on it? It saves me saying the word. It saves me saying the word eulogy.
Yeah, well, you did. Well done.
Or, if you like, what would you like in your eulogy? What would you like people to stand up and say about you?
I'm thinking in some ways, in the most lovable form, what some people would like to put on my tombstone.
Yeah,
that's what I'm having a good chuckle at. Is that a lot of people, those that are connected to me closely or are close friends and family, would have such fun with this, and it probably speaks a lot for the type of life I like to lead. Is that an example would be, oh no, look, there are so many, and they would all be humorous. Would be the point. It's like we've tried to bury him face down, or don't worry, I am buried face down, or got here at last. Something.
It's one thing we don't really plan, is it? You have insurance for health and all this sort of stuff, but you don't really have, I better get my eulogy in order before I pass away. We'll cross over to the other side, or whatever you wanted to call it.
True. Even though it is going to happen, it must happen.
Okay, what areas do you or don't have control over in your business? So what can you control or what can't you control in your business?
There's a lot of both. I think that probably to take that answer on a little bit of a journey, it's actually knowing and identifying the ones that you can control and the ones that you can't control. And then realizing the ones that you can't control are ones that you just don't need to spend another moment thinking about. And that the ones that you can control are the ones that you need to be dealing with. Example of ones that I can't control. I had this box of necessary componentry arrive this morning. It left Monday last week. It took a week longer than it should have to get here. I had no control over that. Apparently a big chunk of that time was swallowed up with storms in Australia that had the plane stranded and cargo was backlogged. Is it mission critical to the business? It was mission, but at the end of the day, it wasn't critical. Like, the world will keep on turning without these components that I now have.
I got a laptop 3 months ago, and the motherboard, well, a long story, but they figured out the motherboard was probably the problem. So I thought, who's going to fix my laptop within a short period of time? Because I'm recording this on my iPad at the moment, which is quite spinny, but it's not too bad. Anyway, I went to Service Plus, and I'm telling them what the story was and all the tests I've done. And then I walk out of there after they've agreed to fix it, and they said it's probably a 2-day turnaround. And this girl comes out. She says, Danny, she said, I follow you on your Instagram, and I've been watching what you do. And I said, oh, you still work here? It was 5 years ago we last met, and it was quite nice. So we had a good chat. And she said, oh, don't worry about your computer. I'll probably be able to get it done a bit sooner for you. It's got a new motherboard from Australia, and come here overnight, and it's going to be all put in, and it should be ready at 4 o'clock today. So it's Wednesday today? So 3 days, and I've got parts from. Now you're telling me that the plane might be delayed.
Oh, that was last week. That was just
okay.
Unfortunate circumstance. This time last week, there were very serious storms in Australia, particularly Queensland. And found out later, everything was grounded.
Yeah, cool. Hey, okay, question back to the questions. We've got 4 more to go. What really makes you angry and why? What makes you angry? Don't mention Trump.
What makes me angry? Well, that's been a part of, going back to one of your earlier questions, part of my life story is that nothing makes me angry. And, everything, there are things that make us angry, yes. I've actually been through a stage of my life where I've just learned there's absolutely zero value in that, and I have tools for dealing with that. So what makes me angry? There's nothing that actually makes me angry. There are things that irritate me, and one of those would be lack of transparency. It's say one thing, do another.
Mm-hmm.
You could say grinds my gears. That's probably one. So the other sorts of people, I just go, okay, I've identified how you roll, doesn't fit with me, and over there you go.
Yeah, don't have to take on the crap.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been invited along to a karaoke night, and they said, right, it's your turn, Lance. Get out there and sing. What song would you sing?
Something from Matchbox 20.
Oh, I know the name, but I don't know any of their music. You have to sing it for me.
Unwell, Bright Lights. There are lots of those ones that can tend to sing along out of tune with.
They freak me out karaoke nights because I can't actually seriously keep up with the words. So unless I know it off by heart.
That's a great point, actually. It's one way to have a bit more fun.
Yeah. I did find myself singing that song by Madame Ruth the other day. You know, that gypsy with the gold cap tooth? Love Potion number 9. It's really good. Yeah. Took my troubles down to Madame Ruth. You know that old gypsy with the gold cap tooth? She gave me, yeah, I won't sing it to you, but yeah, that's about the only song I could because I memorized the whole lot. Okay, would you rather trade intelligence for looks or looks for intelligence? Oh, that is not right. Would you rather trade intelligence for looks or looks for intelligence? So would you like to be ugly and really intelligent, or would you like to be good looking but really dumb?
Yeah, that's such a true point in life. And it's 50-50. There are pros and cons equally for each. If you're asking this one of me directly, I think I'd pick intelligence because you just had a little bit more insight to be able to deal with the other side. So if I was to weight it, I'd be picking intelligence over looks.
Yeah, I would be too. I'm sure there's more you can do. And beauty is skin deep.
Clean to the bone.
But you can be the intelligent one. You can always have a good-looking other person in your life.
Exactly. Yes,
if that was important to you. But if you're intelligent, you wouldn't be judging that on looks. So,
that's the one too.
All right, last question. If you were telling someone about work-life balance, what advice would you give them? So somebody who perhaps is new in business and they're working all the time, and you're going to say, hold on a minute, you can't carry on like this. What advice would you give somebody who might be getting it wrong?
It would start with a question, as I typically do. When was the last time you had a nap in the middle of the day?
Oh my dear, old people do that, don't they?
Yeah, you'll find most top-level executives do.
Yeah, and the thing is, the question what you're really asking is why do people not do that? Because we feel guilty about if we took some time off during the day. Even if Helen and I, my partner, we've been doing walks, and every day we've been trying to do an hour worth of walking, and we've just been doing it at the beginning of the day. And first of all, you sort of think, we should just really get into work, but after a while, you can't. But you got to do something different, don't you? You can't just grind it out.
Absolutely. And letting that brain completely disconnect and switch off and allow yourself to refresh physically through the form of a nap in the middle of the day, which is something that we used to do, dates back to our primeval days. We've just socially conditioned it out of ourselves, yet it's not just so much, there is so much evidence. You just do it yourself and you're onto a winner.
Yeah, good stuff.
So that's what I'd deliver as far as advice.
Excellent. Well, you've answered 12 questions, so you've made it to the other end of the questions. And now this is the part where I ask put that question, wonder what this guy actually does. Who is he and what does he do? So tell us a bit more about you and your business.
So I'm an engineer by trade, and I take on people's problems, business technical problems, and turn them into solutions. So I'll take on something that's not going quite right in your business, figure out the wants from the needs, whether it's your website's not delivering, not converting, your analytics aren't making sense. It'll come in and sort the technology in your business. And it's through the essentialist technique and Pareto's principle, where 80% of the productivity will come from 20% of the action. So it's finding what is working and stripping away and throwing away everything else. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And you've helped me in the past with my email, and I know how to set up my own email and also know how to stuff it up. But you managed to get my emails out of people's junk folders and all that sort of stuff. So that's quite technical because I'm reasonably technical myself, but you certainly took it to another level.
Yeah, so that's a big part of it. I'll just figure out if it's not working, just figure out what's behind it, or if it is working, figure out what actually makes it work and whether we can find a simpler, better way of doing it. And in the case of the emails, well, that's they're goalposts that are forever shifting. So what's working today is we know will be redundant in the near future, and bringing into that is the Privacy Act 2020, which comes into force on the 1st of December in just under a month's time. So it's not so much some of us, all of us are going to have to take a little bit of action towards being compliant with the Privacy Act. So there's quite a bit of project work going on there at the moment. It's probably not as scary as it may sound, but there are, as I said, there are definitely things that all of us need to do at a slightly different level to what we've done before.
So if you're storing databases of people's first and last names and email address or any data, you need to basically prove that you've got some sort of system around protecting that data and not no vulnerabilities really.
That's a small part of it. Probably the bigger part of it is in actually your documentation, the privacy statement on your website, to declare how certain procedures are handled and who is actually dealing with what. And there's a few little hooks and traps in there, but overall, the Privacy Act, it's reasonably benign in terms of there's a lot of freedoms in there for most of us. But as long as we just do the essentials and necessary and just update what needs to be updated, we can carry on as we've been carrying on.
So when you're trying to work out some problem and it gets a bit technical and it's a bit over your head, we can give Lance a call and he can nut that out. And how do we contact you and what's your website address and all that sort of stuff?
So probably one of the easiest ways at Google search, and you could start with Com Technology and Lance Hastie.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming along to us. It's been nice to see you in a different environment than behind a screen in the car. I think it's quite groovy. So thanks for coming along, and hopefully we'll see more of you in the not too distant future.
Absolutely, always, and as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.